All right, everyone, welcome to MATHurdays. Math's so fun, we do it on Saturdays. My name is Teresa Wills. I'm an assistant professor at George Mason University in the Mathematics Education Leadership Program, where I work with both pre-service and in-service teachers and math specialists. And I've been teaching online now for a decade. In that time, I have used what I've learned at Mason in the K-12 classrooms, supporting and working with kindergarteners, third graders, fifth graders, middle school, and high school. So I have a lot of experience in different ages, and I'm here today to show you why I love online learning and I prefer it over face-to-face because I get more student interaction, collaboration, and student voice. We're going to be working on a proportions problem today. However, even if you don't teach that particular grade level, you'll find several tips and tricks that are happening in the online space that you can apply to any grade level. So I hope you are ready to dive in and excited to get started. In the chat box, you can tell us where you're coming in from. So far, I see we have Virginia, Texas, California, Michigan. So we've got the north, the south, the east, and the west. What other states are joining us today? We've got Fargo, North Dakota. We've got Chicago, Maryland. Exciting. And we do have a special guest today, a software developer at Knowledge Hook, Andrew Fenner. Go ahead, Andrew, say hi to us, and we'll explore some of the tools you got for us.
Yeah, really excited to take a look at this one. This is a dual number line that we're going to be looking at today, and I've seen a lot of really creative uses out there for dual number lines. So I hope this is going to really sort of hit the sweet spot for what people are looking for. Just excited to get started and see what y'all think and share even more tools.
Thanks, Andrew. All right, folks. On slide 2, oh, let me make sure you have the slides. Let's see, copy link. If this is your first time at MATHurdays, welcome. We've got some folks that have come several times, and so you have other supports there. You'll need these interactive slides in order to interact. So I've put the link there in the chat box. You can head on down to slide 2. These are bookmarks for you to make your lives easier. The first one are the templates. Um, Working on a collection of lots and lots of templates. There's a great number of math ones in here as well, all the way from elementary. I've got some Algebra 1 in here also. So those are for you. You can edit them, you can copy them. And if you like this session, if you want to check out others, the MATHurdays link has the blank templates, the completed slides, and the recordings of these PDs. So let's jump into this. I'd like to know who's here today, what's going on in your lives. You can join us on slide 3 or 4 and tell us what's happening in your lives right now. What are you celebrating? And so you can use a text box. That's probably the most accessible version. But don't feel like you're stuck with a text box if you prefer images, animated GIFs, Bitmojis, you name it, you can put it on here. I got a picture of me and my kiddos. We hiked some of the Appalachian Trail last Sunday. My daughter was learning about that in second grade, so that was exciting to be able to get out a little bit. Oh, I see some dogs on here. Animals always seem to make it on this page. Um, let's see, is that Lisa on here? Who's got the two dogs there? Oh, well, if that's you, feel free to put on your microphone. Tell us what's great in doggy world. Dennis, you said your first time here. I invite you to turn on your microphone. What are you hoping to get out of today's session?
I'm just trying to see, because I've been in distance learning now for a couple of weeks. I just want to see how other people are doing it, and see if I can get stuff more interactive and engaging for the students.
Awesome. You're in the right place. We got a great support community here, um, and you'll be able to connect with these wonderful math folks. Let's see. Who's got that beautiful Christmas tree? Where are you at? Where is this?
Hi, this is Stephanie. My boyfriend and I, we went to go see Christmas lights outdoors last night. So it kind of was like at a botanical gardens where you can go and walk. It was really nice. There was maybe, like some of the workers and only like like maybe like five groups of like twos and threes. So it was really nice. Very um, socially distant. And yeah, so it was really nice to see like the Christmas lights.
How lovely. It's a beautiful picture. Christina, I love the picture of your kiddos here practicing the bottle balance challenge. So what did they have to do?
Yeah, so we were watching Amazing Race. We're a couple episodes behind, but and they had in the thing they had like they're actually balancing a real bottle. These guys are balancing paper cups because it seems safer, but they have to walk with it, go down to the ground like into plank, and then stand back up. And my daughter was able to do it. It was pretty amazing. My son can walk with it on his head forever, and he can get down to the ground, but the stand back up part was pretty hard. But it was very fun. We had a blast.
That sounds awesome. I'll have to try that out with my kiddos. Let's see, Melissa, tell us about this world at 100 people. What is this cool graph on slide 4, and how did your students interact with it?
So I'm new to teaching math and I'm really interested in the idea of incorporating a little bit of the injustice work, social justice. And so I found this activity that lets the students conceptualize kind of the entire world's population and look at shrinking them down to 100 so they can practice percents and proportional reasoning. And so I let them kind of choose their own topics of questions that they were interested in and do a little bit of research. And some of them chose, like sports themes, and others chose, income inequality and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of an interesting little step into that world of social justice.
You know, it's really amazing that your students have access to see things outside of their own communities, and that's what that does there. Kudos to you, Melissa. We have quite a few new folks here to MATHurdays, and if you see other people adding things like animated GIFs and whatnot, stick with us. We are all just kind of showing off and exploring the things that we are learning. I will mention that we're going to be using interactive slides, which means that you do need to click on that link. I'll send it again in the chat box. Once you're there, the most accessible way of interacting is through a text box, and that looks like that little T with a box around it. You would add one of those to your slides, and you can type directly in it. If you find that your slides are too tiny or too big, a nice little shortcut key is Control plus, Control minus. I'll demonstrate on my screen what that does. So there's my Control plus, and then this is my Control minus. It can help you to see the slides a little bit better. All right, folks, it's great to see who's here today. I always like to start with our successes and celebrations because that pulls away the boundaries and the obstacles into interaction. And now we feel like we're a part of a community and we're ready to go. So let's jump right into our math routine on slide 5. This math routine is called reasoning up and down. I first learned about it from Susan Lehman. There is a great fractional proportional reasoning book with lots of strategies, and reasoning up and down is one of them. On slide 6, I'm going to go through a very purposeful protocol. I like to let you know what that is so you can kind of look out for it. And these aren't necessarily the protocols that you always use with reasoning up and down, but there's definitely some affordances to using some of these. So look out for them as we move through. Alrighty, let's jump into our routine. It's on slide 7. For the routine, you are welcome to just work and collaborate. We don't need to work on the interactive slides here because I'm going to be typing, and you're going to be using emojis and talking. All right, we are here on slide 6, and I have found this can of green beans. The price for this can of green beans that I plan to use for Thanksgiving dinner is $1.50. And it serves 2.5 people. Well, I'm not really sure how I'm going to work with a half a person. I have only whole people coming to Thanksgiving dinner, and so I'm curious what the price would be if I needed 5 servings. So the way we're going to do this is something called a chat waterfall. This is a fun little technique to get more voices in your class. I'm curious how much it would cost for 5 servings. We're all going to turn on our microphones at the same time. I'm going to count down, and we're going to say the price that we think it would be. So go ahead, back over to Collaborate. Turn on your mics. I see 2 mics on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to say this answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
$3.
I heard a lot on here. In the chat box, put an emoji if you heard your answer from someone else. Laura, what was your answer? What did you hear from somebody else?
I heard people say $3, which was what I also said.
And Laura, how did you get $3? What was your strategy?
Well, since you wanted to have 5 people, I doubled 2.5 to get 5. So I did the same to the price. So double $1.50 would be 3.
Neat. So you doubled, and I also heard another one. I want to make sure I get that in there also. You doubled to get 3. Awesome. All right, we're going to keep on going. We're going to continue with that chat waterfall. Turn on your mics. Wait for the countdown. Now I'm thinking about 10 servings. How much will that cost? I see 12 microphones on, 13, 14. For 10 servings, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How much is it?
$6.
$6.
If you heard your answer, put a chat in the an emoji in the chat box. Gail, I see that you heard your answer. What was it and how did you get it?
I said, I heard $6, which is what I said. And I doubled 5 servings to get 10 servings and doubled $3 to get $6.
Awesome. All right. Whoops, I put a hashtag there. What's with the number 3? So it sounds like you used the information from that blue box there to get this. Neat. All righty, we are going to keep on going here. What if I only need 1 serving? Again, all mics on when you're ready. I'm going to give a little more wait time this time. I see 9 mics on. I'm going to give a little more wait time. I see 18 mics on. All right, let's do our voice waterfall in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Cents.
60 cents.
Cents.
If you heard yours, go ahead and put an emoji in the chat box. Dennis, what did you hear and how did you get it?
I heard 60 cents, and I did the simple approach of taking the 10 servings and knowing it was $6 and just dividing by 10 or getting rid of a zero on each one and getting down to 60 cents.
Alrighty, and it looks like you used, what color row did you use to get that?
The purple.
The purple, neat. All right, folks, we're going to do one more here. Again, the same protocol, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I use this protocol as a teacher. So these are all nice and all, but I actually have 6 people in my family who will be here for Thanksgiving. So if 6 is the number of servings, what is the price? Turn your mic on when you are ready. Let's voice waterfall in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
$3.60.
60 cents.
If you heard yours, go ahead and put an emoji in the chat box. Shauna, tell us what you heard and how you figured that out.
I heard $3.60, and I figured it out by using the pink, the unit rate, and multiplied 60 by 6.
Alrighty, if you have another way of figuring this out, raise your hand so that I can see that there's multiple ways. Christina, how did you do it?
I looked at I knew that 5 was 30 cents and and 1 was 60 cents, so I added those two together to get $3.60.
5 was $3.
$3, and 1 was 60 cents, so I added that together to get the 6 servings.
All right, so the 5 for $3, I'm going to recognize that as that blue. And the 1 was 60. Raise your hand if you found yet another way of doing this. And Dennis, do you have another way or still had your hand up? Which one? Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, I didn't know how to take my hand down, sorry.
No worries, no worries. We are all learning here. This is a great space to learn. All right, and then the very last thing I'd like to do is see what other things you have learned from this chart. I want you to think of another serving size that you could calculate using mental math. When you got it, come on down to slide 8, and you'll write it like a ratio. I've done an example in maroon. Just double click an arrow and start typing the price and servings. It's okay to move back and forth between the two. And if you're just joining us, here is the link again. We're between slides 7 and 8. Now, in my classes, each student has a designated color, and whenever they have these color code activities, they know where their space is to type. And as a class, let's try and arrange these on the number line so they go from least amount of money to greatest amount of money. And finally, if I wanted to know a little bit more about your strategy, how you did that mental math, you'll notice that there is on slide 9 a corresponding text box with your color where you can give me a little bit more of your thinking right here on this slide. And folks, that's 10 minutes. I usually like to spend about 7 minutes as my sweet spot on a routine. Obviously, this one had multiple elements. You might choose to do all the elements or not all of them. But I did some very purposeful things in order to get more student voice and comfort in this classroom. The first one was a chat waterfall. And while that sounds a little chaotic at first, hearing everybody, as a teacher, I can hear if they sound all the same or if there's a lot of different sounding answers. So that's good feedback for me. And it's also a comfortable place for students to be wrong. So they're more likely to use the microphone because they can get lost in the crowd. Um, when you did the emojis in the chat box, the purpose there was to see who I could call on. You already had confirmation that somebody else thought like you, and so you're more likely to want to share out your strategy because you know that you're going to be right, or at least there is someone else who is agreeing with you. I tried my best to record student thinking and not change it into my own thinking here and use a little bit of color coding. And then finally, find more. I want students to apply this to another situation and they can show me how complex their minds can think or how accessible and simple they can do this one. It's open choice. And I even have thoughts here in the chat box. So that was kind of my protocol, the tips that I used when doing this type of a routine. And I get lots and lots of participation and information from my students. Alrighty, we're going to head on down into our task for today. If you join me on slide 11, this is why we bother to do rich tasks. You see, NCTM released principles to actions in these 8 math teaching practices. And while we might be able to focus on 1 or 2 of these math teaching practices in any given activity, rich tasks focus on all 8 the entire time. They're front and center. So be on the lookout for these today. And before we jump into our task, slide 12 is our problem-solving oath. Take a look at it. I will read it out loud while you read it to yourselves. And if you pledge to take this oath today, you can type your name there in the chat box. I, Teresa, promise to try my best. I will make sense of patterns and numbers. I will use manipulatives and drawings. I will make mistakes. I will ask questions. I will listen to other ideas. I will stay engaged by always trying to find another solution or representation. I am a problem solver. I make the world a better place. I can see we have lots and lots of problem solvers. Yay. And our task is on slide 13. You see, one of my favorite holidays is coming up, Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is going to look a little different for me this next year. We're going to be just with our immediate family at home, and we're going to be using Zoom to connect with other households of family members. And I'm trying to decide what to do. Should I just pick up a prepackaged turkey dinner? Harris Teeter has them for $50. Or should I go to Costco and get the ingredients that I will need to make a Thanksgiving dinner? Now, these are real things that came out of harristeeter.com, that link's below, and CNBC did how much does it cost to make a Thanksgiving dinner. And the tool that you might choose to use today is the dual number line. This is one that Andrew Fenner, who's with us today, has programmed. And this tool is pretty neat. You get to lock it and unlock it. There's some cool things that happen there. And Andrew, is there anything specific that you want me to showcase before they get a chance to play?
Yeah, there is one very specific thing. Go ahead and lock it real quick.
All right.
You'll notice the magnifying glass at the bottom there. You can move around. Go ahead and move that magnifying glass, and now go ahead and zoom, Teresa, just a little bit. So what that magnifying glass does is it sets the focal point for the zoom. So if you wanted to look at a particular region in a bit more detail or precision, you can use that magnifying glass. But go ahead and unlock again. Unlock on the, yep. Now if I drag again, you'll notice that the focal point is now what? Go ahead and drag. What is it zooming around? It's zooming around 0, because that's the only way that you can keep the proportions the same, right? So you'll have the magnifying glass when you're locked, so you can look around the number line, but when you're programming it or lining them up, you'll use 0 as the focal point, right? So that's just one little feature here that I wanted to mention before people get started.
All right, folks, when you're in your small breakout rooms, enjoy the fun of exploring a new tool. I'm going to be looking for proportionate reasoning for our discussion, but you may solve this problem in any way you like. Proportional reasoning will get the big talk time during the end, and we'll have 20 minutes to explore this. So I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. You'll be able to chat with other people about your thinking, your solutions, and there's even a slide designated for you so that you can write directly on it. All right, folks, our breakout rooms are starting now. Say hello to your new buddies. Hi there, everyone. You are group 4, so you can put your responses down on slide 17.
17. Okay, thank you.
70s.
Yeah, I do miss that a lot.
Hi there, group 3. Did you all get a chance to say hello to each other? And what's your thinking?
I think we're here. How do we see what people are in the group? Oh, yes. Okay.
Huh.
All right. So,
And it looks like we have one participant who's not using the microphone. That's perfectly fine. You're still welcome here. You all are group number 3, so you'll be writing all your thoughts on slide 16.
I'm just dragging things on here to make it easier to look at.
So I'm totally new to this, and I don't see the slideshow. I don't know how to.
Here you go. There's a link in the chat box. If you go ahead and click on that link, it'll bring up the slideshow for you, and then you can interact
Yeah,
right
so
on it.
I have it in a different window. Is there a way? So should I just be on the slideshow?
Yep, you can just head over
behind
to the
window?
slideshow. You can leave your mic on, and we're not really going to use
Okay.
the teleconferencing tool that much.
Okay.
You'll be working on the slide.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's okay. Grab it out of the box. Is that cornbread? Corn.
Hard for me to read what it says too. It's so small.
Wait, let's see if we can make it bigger. Corn. No. Oh wait, there we go. Okay. Whew.
calculation is silver.
Thanks for doing that.
I don't want to take up all our spot, but I just feel like I need to.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead and do it.
So group, what was your instinct when you first saw these? Which one do you think might be a better idea for me for Thanksgiving?
Teresa, the one thing I said was if you bought the pre-done meal, I didn't say, that save you a lot of time and energy, but then y'all could use it for between 2 to 3 meals. I don't know how much your kids eat, if they're not big eaters, that would probably serve y'all 3 full meals.
Yeah.
First thing that hit me.
And
Are we
Costco's
supposed to be,
turkeys only come in 15 pounds or more, so I got to remember that when it comes time to thawing that big bird.
Oh yeah. And what are you going to do with your leftovers, etc.?
Yep. Dennis, what was
And
your question?
well, your grocery store is between a 9 and 12 pound bird then? Is that what that's saying?
Yeah, that
9
one
dash
says that
12?
in that
Okay.
dinner, it'll come to you with somewhere between a 9 to a 12-pound bird.
Are we supposed to be seeing what the better price is then for value and make comparisons, or what are you exactly wanting us to
Yeah.
do?
So Dennis, one thing that I love to do with mathematics in these times, and even with students in middle school, is give them real situations like this and just ask like, which one should I do? And how can you use mathematics to show why that's a better choice? And so there's going to be a lot of different answers, but we can use mathematics to say, hey, look at this bird. Here's 2 different weights. I would choose this one because, and then why. And so I'm right now on a hunt to see how people solve this and how we're going to bring that into our conversation about proportions today.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm
a
looking at
background noise, but I wanted to quickly say
of just figuring out the different things too.
Yeah. Should we add up the Costco prices?
I think before you add them, you might have to figure out how much it is for like certain amounts, because for the turkey we need 9 to 12 pounds, but the price they have is for 15 pounds minimum. So we have to like convert that first.
Oh, and she wants for 8 to 10. Turkey dinner serves 8 to 10, $49. So then that turkey is 15-pound minimum. So how many pounds is that? Oh, I see, 9 to 12.
The reason I think I was thinking about the whole dinner is because it's different ingredients. Because like at Costco, they're buying the mixed vegetables and the butter, which is $10.49, which I think is a lot. And they're not buying that in the other dinner.
Oh, because you wouldn't need, yeah. I think I'd always go with just Costco because it'd be easier to, no, but with the full dinner, then you don't have to worry about cooking anything.
That could be our answer. We're not cooking.
Hi, folks. That was a lovely answer there. So this problem has so
my
many.
thought as I'm thinking about my math brain with everything that's going on, like, relax and just, you figure you spend all this, my aunt spends all this time cooking, right? Every year she spends hours and hours and hours and hours cooking, and then we end up eating for 20 minutes and we're done, so it's like she loves it. So anyway.
Emily, I'm curious about what you had said about the turkeys as some kind of conversion. Now, the neat thing about this problem is there's about 500 correct answers. You could say, I would rather this one, and here's my reasoning. So I am on a hunt for reasonings. So you mentioned maybe converting something. I'm curious what answer that's going to give you. You would prefer what and why. And so as you're thinking about this problem, try to come up with a couple of those 500 correct answers, but it's the reasoning that connects with it that's important.
Okay.
And I think one of these things, these workshops have
Because they're like either you look at it holistically or break it by ingredients. So then underneath potatoes, we can do, and they have different, like they don't have equitable, like, so the Costco includes stuffing, which I think is the same as dressing, right? Is that not the same thing?
Yeah.
Stuffing / dressing.
So we would need to double our stuffing to go up to have it be similar to the Harris Teeter.
Mm-hmm.
Hi there, Group 2. This is a really cool table that you're working with. What does this table tell you?
We're trying to compare the prices of the two. First, like we were looking at it holistically, but then Gail was correct in pointing out that, you know, not only are they offering different quantities, they're offering different things. So you can look at it as like a whole package, but then now we're starting to look at like ingredients.
Very cool.
All right, so this first one has 8, so this serves 8 to 10, and then that's a turkey picture.
Right.
And people, did she say how many people she needed?
I don't remember. But I guess maybe we can compare at least like if we were thinking about how many we were going to be.
I could say I'm adding $4 or rounding up to $4 for the chicken bouillon. So that would be $19.
Wow, look at the cost of that butter. Our butter does not cost anywhere. Then you can round the butter down to $10. We'll let you do that. $10.50 for a pound of butter.
You know how Costco has like huge butters.
Yeah.
Oh, still.
5
Yeah,
packs of 4s.
We don't have Costco's in. I live near Waco. There's not a Costco anywhere close. We have to go to the Dallas area.
Okay.
Or Austin.
Costco, it's wholesale a lot of the time, so the serving sizes are humongous.
Yeah.
But it's still 16 ounces for $10.50 is, oh.
Yeah, that's just a pound of butter. 16 ounces is just 1 pound. That's a
Right.
really great. That must be some special kind of Irish butter. Something.
I don't know. Maybe it comes from Europe. Okay, so let's see, 15 and 4. That's 19 and 7.
Okay, and so then we have the potato bag, which is 7 more.
7.
So that would be 43.
I'm really excited about what you're doing with the ruler because I was kind of like Dennis. I'm not really able to see how to use that.
So when something that we do in 4th grade is we use double number lines when we're comparing fractions. And then I had someone from the county help me think about how to use it for addition because for students who have really low number sense, they only see it as being added to like how much more do I like owning something and not seeing it in linear form. So I'm just thinking if I keep 50 constant and keep adding on the other one, hopefully we can figure something out. I don't know.
Okay, so what's the one thing you've added wrong? We can call out to you what.
Like how much the cranberries cost per person or how much they are per, or how.
Yeah, I think I need to move the Costco turkey to this would make more sense.
Okay, like I said,
Yeah, for a
not
second.
racing back. I was saying these workshops make you be a little bit more empathetic to the kids that maybe are not on the same page as everybody else, you know.
There we go. Does that make more sense? Then we can add them underneath.
I gotta move it over. Hang on, I gotta check. Yeah, that makes much more sense.
Okay.
Great idea. Great idea.
Neat,
It's a
folks.
great.
So look what you've got over here. You've got a lot of numbers that are equal to one another. How does that help us kind of think about the situation?
I'm a little stuck on the different ingredients.
Yeah, me too.
I think as long as you have like the same like amount of each item, then you can kind of compare like the total prices and see which one is like more expensive.
So
Because
Emily,
all
I
these things in
see. Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
All these things in the green are what you need to make the turkey dinner, right? Like there's nothing extra. So, right? So it's all the things you would need because pie's not on there. So what I'm saying is like the top is what you need for a full turkey dinner and the bottom is what you need to make your own turkey dinner. I don't eat meat, so I've never cooked, as embarrassing enough, I've never cooked turkey dinner before. But
You know, it's funny.
I
I grew
see.
up in a very Italian family that had other nationalities of people. Like my grandmother was an immigrant, and so they had other nationalities that would come over for Thanksgiving. Those were their friends because they didn't have a lot of family. So we had Thai food, we had Italian food, we had some regular Thanksgiving food. And I'll tell you, it wasn't until I got older and had a boyfriend and I went over to their Thanksgiving and I was like, whoa, wait, this is just like the Charlie Brown special. You actually have turkey and mashed potatoes. Where are the egg rolls and where's the ziti? It was so confusing to me.
that's hilarious. Dressing, stuffing, because the dressing's already in the dinner. I'm gonna eat myself.
Now, even though they're called something different, one is stuffing and one is dressing, are they the same amount in both of them? And how might you know?
Good question.
That's what I'm thinking through because I'm guessing the bouillon is for the stuffing and probably some butter. So it's going to make more than 16 ounces because that's just the mix.
Right, because it doesn't have the butter up above because everything's, you don't need everything's in there.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to want some extra butter. Extra butter. Fresh cranberries, cranberry relish, mixed vegetables, green bean casserole. It's making me hungry.
And your mixed vegetables are surely going to be easier. And fresh cranberries, I've never made it. My mother I think she just uses sugar, water, and cranberries to make that real cranberry relish.
So what do we think?
All right, if you are joining me from the recording, I always like to spend a few minutes by myself in the main room as I am uploading here what it is I'm going to be saying. I actually create myself a little mapping. I want to start off with certain slides. People write in the chat box. A new addition that was put in there. I have some specific questions. I want to get into proportions, and then I want to get into what questions could you ask. That's going to be the main way that I share. All right, let's see. Let's bring everyone back.
In terms of
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the main room. It is wonderful to have you all back. So yeah, we've got a lot of fun thinking happening here. And as many groups noticed, there are about 500 correct answers. It's all in your reasoning for how you explain this. And this is going to be a unit starter for us. We're going to start our proportions unit and just enjoy the beauty and wonder of this type of a task. And the questions for the unit are all going to come out of this task. So let's take a look at where people were. I'm going to share my screen and on the Collaborate board, and you can also look in the Google Slides. But I'm going to start on slide 22, and I'm going to ask this group. Actually, I wanted to ask everyone up front, what did your instincts say the better deal was? Go ahead and put your response in the chat box. Before you even started, what was your gut instinct?
Can you repeat that question,
Yeah,
please?
what was your
Because
gut
my audio went
instinct?
out.
Which one would you prefer, the Harris Teeter pre-packaged or the Costco buy all the pieces? A lot of controversy. Harris Teeter. Stephanie says Harris Teeter because you don't cook at all. Pre-packaged is for less than 10. Yep. All right. So in thinking that this task is the starting of a unit, and we are going to have tons of specific math problems that students answer, let's take a look at some things that we noticed when we started this task today. And the first one's on slide 22. Would group 5 tell us, how did you use the dual number line here, and what does this tell us?
So we were having a hard time figuring out, are we using the dual number line to find portion sizes, or are we just adding and comparing it to the $49.99? So we left one of the number lines at 50, and because we rounded $49.99 to 50, and we used the top number line to make our addition jumps of Costco's prices, and we rounded up every time, and then we landed on 57.
Cool, group 5, way to use effective strategies for rounding. And now we can see Costco versus Harris Teeter. Let's see how this other group used the dual number line. On slide 23, someone wrote 5 pounds of veggies and $7.89. What were you thinking here?
So I was trying to, because the one had green beans and it was 2 pounds. We were trying to figure out what 2 pounds of vegetables would be from Costco. And we ended up putting in an extra line that's not on here. Let me see if I can. So that we tried lining up the cost, of the, it was almost $8.
Oh, I see.
For the, and line that up for 5 pounds, and then use the double number line to figure out what 2 pounds of veggies would cost, and it was a little over $3.
So it sounds like this dual number line was really efficient. Once you knew the price of 5 pounds of veggies, you could use that to figure out what to 2 pounds, or maybe we go down to our unit rate 1 pound. What if we are, working in a, an area where we're feeding a lot of people and we need 700 pounds? We can quickly check the price of that. Lovely. On slide 24, could our author of this one tell us what is happening at this moment? Now, this group worked on this a lot more. I just grabbed a snapshot of the moment. But what's happening right here?
Hi, so our group, we started where we were kind of looking at it holistically, similar to slide 22, where we were just looking at like the whole price of Costco versus the whole price of Harris Teeter. But then we realized that the amount of turkey being offered was slightly different. So then we started breaking it down by ingredient. And we looked at the Costco turkey and it said like pretty much like we rounded it to like a 15-pound minimum. It said like something about a 15-pound minimum. So we're like, oh, if it's a 15-pound turkey, we're going to work that out to about 99 cents a pound. So like we started to break it down to decide like what would it be? What would the amount of that turkey cost for 10 people?
Neat. And why did you decide on 10 people?
Because for the Harris Teeter, we were trying to compare both of them. So the Harris Teeter one said it served 8 to 10 people. So we went with 10 just because it's an easier number. So we decided to start using 10 as our per person to figure out the per person serving cost.
Lovely, Laura. Everyone else. So Laura's group decided to do this one up to 10. She said that Harris Teeter said 8 to 10. What if we went down to the lower number, the 8? How much might it cost for 8 people? Let's do a chat waterfall. You'll type your answer in the chat box, and then I'll do a countdown and we'll all hit enter at the same time. What about for 8 people? Hmm. And as those are being typed in the chat box, let's get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
$8.
Nice. All right, we have some people saying about 8, and then we have more detailed numbers of 792. And Colette, would you tell us a little bit about how you got 792?
Sure, Teresa. I just basically took $1 times 8 and then subtracted 8 cents
And why did you subtract 8 cents?
because the turkey isn't exactly $1 a pound. It's 99 cents a pound. So if I'm buying 8 pounds, I need to take that 8 cents away, 1 cent for each pound that I'm buying, assuming a pound per person.
Neat. So you started off with that 1, and then you kind of decomposed that to get the answer there. Lovely. And then this group continued. On slide 25, again, we have our table, but they noticed something else was happening here. And would this group tell us what is going on now? What did you notice here? I think this may have been group 1. What's happening?
Hi, yes, that was group one. So we were trying to figure out, because we really like food, on how much turkey we would each get if we had 10 people each. We also thought that the 10 was a friendly number. And so trying to decide, was it worth it to have that prepackaged, or actually cooking it. If we're cooking it, we definitely want to be sure we're getting enough of that for all that work we did.
Yeah, and which you said that your group likes food. I'm going to be a part of your group. You may invite me. Thank you very much. Which of the two would you prefer to go to, the Harris Teeter Orange or the Costco Yellow?
If I have 10 people, we would probably definitely would really want the 15-pound turkey, because then we get about 1.5 pounds per person, and definitely would have like leftovers for each person versus only having 1 pound.
I also really like leftovers. I like to make turkey hash with potatoes and other veggies in it. Yes, I agree. I would like to be here with the yellow. And Stephanie, it's neat that your group came up with a pounds per person because that's something we're going to do in a lesson. We're going to talk about pounds per person. Um, and let's see, we have a couple others on slide 26 and 27. If I had another day, I would continue to bring up this idea of there's more interesting math that we found. But coming back full circle, let's take a look at slide 27. Now we found a way to bring the dual number line that one group did together with the table. Give me an emoji when you see a connection between the table and the dual number line. You see a connection between these two. All right, would the author of the table tell us what you were thinking in this bottom row?
We wanted to compare similar amounts. So 5 pounds from Costco of frozen veggies was too much to compare to 2 pounds of green bean casserole. So that's when we started using the double number line to try and figure out what the price for, and it never got typed in, for 2 pounds of veggies would be from Costco. So a little bit over $3. Yeah, nice. So that we could compare like $3, and I'm just totally rounding this at the moment because we really didn't work it out for 2 pounds.
So this,
So that we could,
go ahead, Gail.
and because we just wanted to be able to compare.
Lovely. And what I like here is, Gail, in our unit, we're going to use a lot of double number lines and a lot of tables. But what you did here is you made it so we can see what the double number line looks like in table form. All right, folks, after all that we've done today, our exit ticket is on slide 28. Find your color or a color. Double click in the box. What is a question that you could ask students after they had this experience? What kind of mathy question might you be able to ask them? Yeah, what kind of mathy question could you ask students after they had this exploration? People are saying we could find out price per person, price per group of 10, total money spent, which costs more? What else would we need to make a better comparison? Total money for each person. Cost per person for the prepackaged dinner. Why is figuring out the price for 10 people easier? And folks, now we have the topics for the next couple of lessons that we do in proportions. We're going to keep coming back to the Thanksgiving dinner. So when I'm finding a unit rate, we're going to go back to what does it cost for 1 pound of turkey. When we're doing proportional reasoning up and down, we're probably going to use the potatoes because one was at 15 and the other one's down at 2. That's a vastly different number. So today what you all got to see is one task, how it's used over at the beginning of a unit to launch the unit, and then talked about in more specificity throughout the lessons. As a reminder, I've got some reminder slides below. MATHurdays is every Saturday. We just explore ways to optimize the virtual space in solving math problems. I've got templates and other recordings available. Slide 31 has frequently asked questions. And slide 32 has the link to the book that just came out this last week, Teaching Math at a Distance for grades K through 12, where I've got a whole bunch of ideas in there for you. And I'm going to end here in the virtual parking lot. If anyone has any questions, I'll stay put. You can ask away. I hope you enjoyed some new math thinking and that you saw how to get more student voice, participation, interaction, and engagement online. It's been a pleasure, everyone.
Teresa, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
I know we didn't do dice in this one, but do you know how to put dice into the Google Slides?
There's a couple ways of doing it. The simple way is going up to Insert Video. I'm going to type in dice roll. I think I usually get one with that. That's not the one I'm doing. Maybe it was roll dice. Here is the one I'm looking for. What this is essentially a video of somebody rolling the dice. There's pros and cons of this. The pros are, hey, I can hit play and pause, and I've got a number. What this doesn't do is allow the partner to see it. So you have to either share screens or trust that's happening. There's another app that I really like to use for collaboration so people can both see on the slide at the same time, and that's playingcards.io. And it's because they have a spinner. They've got a lot of really cool things here. What I like the most is the spinner. I'm going to go in here and just kind of delete out some stuff. It's very programmable, so it's really user-friendly for kids and teachers. But now I have a spinner, and if I share the link with you, which I'll do right now, I can spin this, you see it, you can spin it, I can see it. And we can also do some like virtual dice. So I use the playingcards.io as a nice place to be able to play games together. I can put in a deck of cards and some empty slots, and then we can kind of play a game together. So go ahead, you can turn over a card, you can play it, you can spin. And another neat thing is you have your own hand at the bottom. So someone just pulled some cards in their hand and I can't see what they are. I can pull in my own cards. And if you're playing the game, you cannot see it. So it does give a lot of opportunities for you to create games and kids to create games. I've just started tinkering with this. This is my learning experience right now, but I'll share with you what I've got. I have several games already done. This is at teresawells.com/games, and this is just kind of my learning experiment right now. But it's super useful. I really like the Go Fish one. So what I can do in this playingcards.io is I can actually bring in another game. And then we can all play this. Once you create the game and you export it, it's yours forever. And so this is kind of what I'm playing around with. Feel free to grab some of those decimal squares. If you need the link again, I'll put it in the chat. Some of you are finding that this might be blocked in your county. The one thing that's really nice is if you talk to the IT people for your school, it's a quick click, and they can make it available for your students. So I'm usually asking, do you have 9/10? If they do, they'll put it there, and that person would get those cards, and it gives you some points on the side. So there's a lot of different things you can play around with. I don't have a great answer for dice, but this is what I'm working with right now. Is your book a digital or hard copy? It's both. If you want it fastest, you can go to Corwin. I'll drop this link right here. This is the fastest way of getting it. It's also available on Amazon, and you can get it virtually in digital versions there. You can get it in different versions here as well. Let's see, how did the number line make it to the slides? Yes, it was a screenshot. So on PCs, I would use Apple Shift S for a screenshot. I think on Macs, it's Command Shift 4. Oh, I'm so excited whoever said that they figured out how to insert video, dice, and spinners. That's awesome. The headphones that I use, there's a couple that I really like. Most important thing is having the boom mic, the little microphone that comes off the side. These ones here are Logitech Zone. They are a bit more expensive. I've been pretty happy with all the Logitech stuff. The nice thing about these ones is they have noise canceling. So even though the kids are playing Legos behind me, I've got noise canceling coming in my ears and I'm not distracted. So I did pay a little premium for that. Andrew, some people are curious about more knowledge hook stuff. I know we're going to, oh, you're not in here anymore. Ah, perfect. He wrote on the side.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Great. Go ahead. It sounds like people are interested in knowing more.
Yeah, so the most exciting thing I can share right now is actually an extension of what we did last week. And if anyone was here and worked with the multiplication grid, what I'd love to share with you is actually a knowledge hook game show, which is sort of like a Kahoot, but with the manipulative embedded. So you can actually play with the manipulative and then answer multiple choice questions. And of course, this is just one of many other game shows that we have at Knowledge Hub. So I'll be happy to share out the link to just the standalone manipulatives, but also that game show specifically. So if you've ever used Kahoot in the classroom, it's a lot like that, except it's a lot more mathy. I'll go ahead and send that link. You'll need a free account to do it, but it only takes a second to set up. And I'll drop that down on slide 33 with everything else, right? But definitely feel free to check out the other link, which is just to the manipulative site that you can use to facilitate in any way you like. And be on the lookout for that game show link.
And thanks again, Andrew. It was fun playing around with it. I think people have ideas for using it more in very specific types of questions. A can of green beans costs $1.50. How much would it be if I was going to get 7 cans? And so we've got that for those very one-step type problems, but I hope you also saw today ways that you can do many, many steps.
One of my favorite low floor tasks for this particular tool is just program the number line to find half of a number. And then kids talk through how they were able to do that, which numbers they choose to use half. So some of them might line up 1 and 2, some of them might line up 5 and 2.5, some might line up 10 and 5, right? So just a real simple prompt like that can be a lot of fun as kids are just getting used to learning the tool.
Oh, somebody asked about virtual escape rooms. You got me. I am still learning about those. I'm on NCTM virtual right now and also trying to see if there's other ideas for virtual escape rooms. I haven't done them before, but they look exciting.
If you go to Facebook, they have a Bitmoji craze for educators. and you can just type in the side there, escape rooms, and there's a whole bunch of them, I think.
So cool.
I guess I should put that on the slide, huh?
Yeah, if you have a link for us, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of virtual games with students, you know, with everything we do, I find that sharing links in the chat box works really well. And teaching kids, if you haven't done it yet, teach them to move between tabs or apps or programs. I've seen so many preschool kids doing that on their iPads. I'm convinced that this is a life skill that kids will always use. You'll always have multiple tabs, multiple windows. And so getting them comfortable with it will save you in the long run. All right, I think I've answered these ones. If you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, think about Thanksgiving dinners. Think about how you are, the math that you're doing with it, and how many other questions you could continue to ask during the entire unit about Thanksgiving dinner. Once you have kids hooked in that context, they're going to be able to think about proportional reasoning so much better.
And I posted a quick link to an example of what those game shows look like. I gave my best description, but it's better just to sort of see the image.
Awesome. All right, folks, happy Mather Days, and hope to see many of you guys in the next couple of Mather Days.
Thanks, Teresa.